Tubers, Tibets, and of course, crazy people. Are you finding that you need an inflation vacation? Has things just become so out of hand that you can't get through the month? Well, in this video, I want to talk about some of the options that may be available to you and can possibly take away some of that economic stress that you're feeling right now. Okay, that's coming up here in the video. Well, already, you've done your 20, your 30, your 40 years. You've put it in. You've earned it. You're ready for it. What are you ready for? Your retirement. You're of that age like me. You hit the era of golden years. You're an official senior citizen. And for the last 15 years, as you crept towards that goal of retirement, it might have been in your mind that you and Mabel, for what it's worth, we're going to hop in the old Winnebago and do a tour of the 50 states and stop off every couple nights at the Good Sam Club, sit around the campfire with another like-minded individuals, swap stories, and then hop in and go your merry way. Well, that dream is pretty much dead. Due to inflationary pressures, economic stress, and insecurity that exists today, and doesn't show any sign of abating as far as I can see. I'm no economist, but if change is coming, I think it's going to be down the line. So forget touring the 50 states. You can no longer afford the parking space for the Winnebago, much less take it out for a ride. And so I looked at some polls and I looked at some surveys that were done by 3 different entities. And much to my surprise, they all came up with the same friggin' number. And that number was 17%. So I took some notes. 17% of all Americans are thinking about, not necessarily going to do it, but giving strong consideration to moving out of the country. Of that 17%, out of 57 million people, over 45 million people, 80% of the 17, are doing it due to economic insecurity. They just do, with their pension, with their social, with their SSI, with their disability, whatever it is that they're receiving, they're finding that in America today, there's just more month than money. And so they are going to have to make some kind of a change. To me, it's very reminiscent of the Sam Kinison joke that was so famous on Johnny Carson. And Sam Kinison did a joke about starving people in Africa. You remember the scenes in Africa with the babies and the flies on their face, and everyone was malnutrition and starving. And people, good Samaritans, would come out every year and try to bring medical supplies and food and medicine and all this kind of stuff for these poor souls. And Sam very famously said, "We're tired of coming out here. Move to where the food is." And I relate that to today's situation economically. You can either sit there and wallow and just kind of take it and start cutting back on everything and feeling economically insecure and fretting over where your next meal is coming from, or will you be able to make the rent, or should you turn off the heat? Do you give up your medications? Or you can move to where the food is. You can move to where the food is affordable. You can move to where the rent and the electricity is 1/3 or 1/4 of what you're paying right now. And that's exactly what 45 million of you are thinking about doing. And for that very reason. And I don't blame you. I have to confess, when I came out here to the Philippines, there was no economic stress in my life due to inflation. I came out here because I was burnt out on working. I just was lazy. I just said, you know what? I've been humping it out for 12 hours a day for all this stuff. All the stuff is meaningless anymore. It's all worn out or burnt out, or it was just a waste of money, all the stuff that I owned and thought was so important. So I wanted to come out here, and I just wanted to move to where the food is. I wanted to move out where my little check from Social Security would sustain me and even allow me to save a few bucks. And so far, I'm happy to tell you that's been the case. I've come out here 8 years ago. Are things perfect in the Philippines? Oh, au contraire, mon frere. They certainly are not. But if I do a plus minus of comparison between living in America today and living in the Philippines today, in my heart and mind, the Philippines wins hands down. Just because of economics. Does the Philippines have its pluses and minuses? Boy, do they. The pluses, I would say, are the people, the attitude, the slow-moving vibe, um, the economic freedom. The minuses are the people, the slow-moving vibe, because where one gives, the other one taketh away. There's one thing about being a mellow, chill Filipino, and then there's dealing with the mellow, chill Filipino when you're trying to get something done. So there's kind of the give and the take on that. No disrespect to the Filipinos. I'm married to one. I know what I speak of. Everything is later. Next time, we'll get to it. Zero sense of urgency. And if you don't have the temperament for that, you are a guy that is used to deadlines and you're used to things being efficient and on time and ready when you want them, well, you can take that idea and throw it out the window because it ain't going to happen here in the Philippines. So the purpose of this video isn't to convince you or sell you on the Philippines. It's to maybe try to sell you and convince you to at least explore the options of another place to go. It does not have to be 6,000 miles away like it was for me here in the Philippines. Did I find my bliss here? For the most part, yeah. Does it have its challenges? All day long. There may be other opportunities. Thailand might be an awesome fit for you. Much more modern, better hospitals, better quality food. Just like the list goes on and on. However, on all these countries, including the Philippines, you would need to look at one thing, I would say very strongly, and that's the visa situation. How long can you stay in each particular country? I'll name a few more. There's Vietnam, there's Kuala Lumpur, there's Mexico, there's Panama, there is Spain. I don't pretend to know what it takes to live in Spain or Panama or Kuala Lumpur. I do know that you can come to the Philippines and you can stay here up to 3 years on a tourist visa. Have they tightened up a little bit on the requirements? Yes. Are they dialing in, or should I say drilling down on your purpose for being here for so long without having truly invested into the country? For example, there's an SRRV visa that's $10,000 for some people. I think it's $2,500 for military. They would like to see that kind of money put in. On a tourist visa, you're simply paying monthly fees. So they might start to question that. But if you answer the questions correctly, I got news for you, pal. You can stay here for up to 3 years, bug out of the country for a few days, come back and start all over again. As long as you're diplomatic about it, both coming and going, you should not have an issue. I asked my friend the other day, what's the deal with Thailand these days? I used to live in Thailand. And back then, 2009, I had to do what was called border runs. I had to go to Myanmar. And I think I had to go every 2 months. And I'd go there, cross the border, stamp, showed I went out of the country, came back. It was a 12-hour day, getting there and back via bus. And it got old in a hurry. So that was one of the things that kind of turned me off. But from what I understand, you can buy a visa for $33,000. Now, please fact check me on that, because that's coming from one guy, one source, and he was just giving me some options. There's plenty of different plans, I believe, that you can utilize if Thailand floats your boat. I have no clue about Panama or Spain or any of these other places, but they may be worth looking into. I guess the gist of this video is that when you're backed up against a wall, sometimes you have to make some tough decisions, and that involves change. As human beings, change is usually not received very well. We generally don't like it. I can say that I may be the exception to the rule on that, and you may be too. You may be dying for a change. If anything else, all you want is a change. Your life has become mundane, it's become repetitious, there's no real challenges, you're bored, it's expensive, there's nothing to do. Your options to expand your inner circle of friends is perhaps diminished. So there you have it. Travel, looking outside the country, moving to where the food is, as Sam Kinison so eloquently screamed into the microphone years ago on Johnny Carson, just might be the cure for what ails you. Okay, this is a short little video. I just thought I would pop it out there, run it by you. I was impressed by those statistics and would like to hear what your viewpoint is. All right, I'll see you in the next video.